About that time for a quiz review. Unfortunately, we didn't have time to do this in class, but you will have this at home and you'll have the key at home, so hopefully you take advantage of it so that you are able to complete this the way you're supposed to. We're going to go over each of these. Some of this requires a calculator, a lot of it doesn't, but let's go ahead and start at the beginning. We have a graph of y equals negative x squared minus 2x plus 3. Looks like this. Looking for the vertex, that is the turning point, the middle point, the point where the graph is either at its highest or lowest. In this case, it is right here. This is my vertex. Our x value is negative 1, y value is 4, so my vertex is negative 1, 4. Because this graph is concave down, this is a maximum. My axis of symmetry is the point or the vertical line that goes through the vertex and splits the graph in half. In this case, and in any case, it's going to be x equals the same x value as the vertex. So x equals negative 1. Already mentioned this graph is concave down because that's the way the arrows would point. We have, in this case, two x-intercepts. X-intercepts are where the curve intersects the x-axis. One of them is at negative 3, 0. The other one is at positive 1, 0. Domain, because there are no endpoints on this, I drew arrows, but you should know those need to be arrows. Since there are arrows, it goes forever off towards negative infinity and forever towards positive infinity, so this would be all real numbers, or negative infinity to positive infinity. Range is slightly different. Because this graph has no bottom, which is where we begin at the bottom. The bottom will be negative infinity. That goes to y, but it does have a top, and the top is at positive 4, which is the same as the y value of the vertex, and those numbers are going to match as well. On the other one is a slightly different graph, but it's the same process. This graph is x squared minus 6x plus 5. My vertex is going to be down here at 3, negative 4. Because it is the lowest point on the graph, it is going to be a minimum. My axis of symmetry goes through the vertex at x equals 3. The graph opens upward, so this is going to be a concave up graph. It has two roots, one at 1, 0, and another one at 5, 0. This one does have set domain values because it has closed circles on either end. The left-hand side, the furthest it goes, is 1, and it's a closed dot, so it's less than or equal to x. The furthest right this graph goes is to positive 6. Closed circle also. Range values will be similar. The bottom of the graph is at negative 4. The top of the graph is up here at positive 5. And all of these are less than or equal to because they're all closed circles or a curve that approaches the edge. So that's the first two. The next question, we have to find our values. It asks, the equation is y equals x squared minus 6x. It asks for the line of symmetry. There are a couple of ways you can do that. You can, and what I would recommend here is using the formula negative b divided by 2a to find using this. Now for this equation, a is 1, b is negative 6, c is 0. So if I plug this in to negative b over 2a, the numbers I'm going to be plugging in are negative 6 on top and 1 on the bottom. So, if we put that in the calculator, negative 6 on top, over 2 times 1 on the bottom, we get that our axis of symmetry equals 3. Now this is helpful because the line of symmetry always goes through the vertex. It means the vertex must have an x value of 3. So what I need to do next is take the equation, plug it into the calculator, x squared minus 6x, and I'm going to go to the table, find my vertex value. So when x equals 3, y equals negative 9. Now, in order to fill out the rest of this, I need two numbers smaller, so 2 and 1, and two numbers larger, so 4 and 5, and I'm going to fill out the values around those numbers. So when x is 1, y is negative 5. When x is 2, y is negative 8. When x is 4, y is negative 8. And when x is 5, y is negative 5. So going to graph those, I'm going to go to 3, negative 9. Here are my other 2 points. And then 1 and negative 5 will be here. 5, negative 5 will be here. So this is the basic beginning curve of my graph. The last part of the question asks you to find the zeros, which are going to be up here somewhere. But remember, if you look on the calculator, you will find the zeros where y equals 0. So we have 1 at 0, 0. And we have another at 6, 0. So that means that these lines would continue curving up like that and like that. And my zeros would be 0, 0 and 5, 0. That is page 1.